This morning I was questioning my daughter on her quiet time, and I always ask her, so what's the subject? And she said, it's working with God. And I said, well, what did it say about working with God? And she said, well, it says we should work with God. I looked at her, I said, are you sure it's not working for God? We should work for God. And she said, nope, it's working with God. What do you think? Is it working with God, or is it working for God? Well, this verse came to my mind from 1 John, Jesus' words, and he said this, my Father is always at work to this very day, and I too am working. And then he goes on to say, listen to this, the Son, meaning himself, can do nothing by himself. He can do only what he sees his Father doing, because whatever the Father does, the Son also does. So in this case, Jesus was working with his Father, And what work does the Father do through the Son? Of course, we know it's to build his church. 2 Corinthians 6, verse 1 says, you are a co-worker with God, and we are co-workers with God, building up his church. Head, heart, and hands. And as we talk about this year, 2024, head, heart, and hands, the book of Romans has been really key to showing us how that looks. I'm going to read a familiar verse to you if you're from the Union Church, but I'm going to read it in the version, the Message, which is more of a paraphrase. And it goes like this from Romans 12, talking about head, heart, and hands, and you and I as co-workers building up the church. It says this, the only accurate way to understand yourself or ourselves is by what God is and by what he does for us, not by what we are and do for him. Now, in this way, we are like the various parts of a human body. Each part gets its meaning from the body as a whole, not the other way around. So in a sense, the body doesn't get its meaning from you as an individual, but you as an individual using your gift gets your meaning from what God is doing, building up his church, and your relationship to the rest of the body, working together collaboratively. And then it says this, the body we're talking about is Christ's body of chosen people, or his church. Each of us finds our meaning and function as a part of his, Christ's body. Then he says this, but as a chopped off finger or cut off toe, we wouldn't amount to much. Now, as an illustration, I'm going to go back to these building blocks or puzzle pieces. Come and look here with me. Each form is different. We are individuals, right? I handed these out to each one of you on Sunday, and I said, everyone has a gift. Everyone has a gift. And then to write down what gift you believe you have. Right here, one that says, I have a gift, and it's encouragement. Here's a gift, and it says to give, to teach, to serve. And they're all different shapes, forms, and sizes. And it is quite beautiful, especially against this black tablecloth. And in a sense, we have these colorful lights shining in the dark. But interesting enough, each gift, as neat and colorful and pretty as it is, really isn't as useful as it could be as if the pieces were connected and each one finding its role and its unique feature in context of the whole body. So we may have a thumb right here, but the thumb's cut off, right? Or you have a toe. Here, a toe's important, but what if the thumb and the toe were all connected to the body in the right way? Let's just take a look and see what happens when we place our gift in the right context, in the design that the Father is doing through Christ and his church, building up the body. Let me just take a look and see what I can do here. You know, when we use our gifts in the context, the greater context of one another, serving one another, there is a design. Now, it's not important that this looks like a church, and the meaning isn't that the gifts have to be done inside the church building, but it's representative of the body of Christ being built up, whether that's evangelism gifts outside, or whether that's a teaching gift used inside the church. So here, the gifts are being used together. Each one belongs to the other. How do you actually mount that in the church? I'm inviting you to our UC Ministry Leaders and Volunteers Picnic, and this is a kickoff to 2024, and we're going to be doing exactly this. Look here, we're going to be mounting our spiritual gifts, aligning that with the head, heart, and hands model of pleasing God, serving one another, and witnessing to the world. So come Saturday, March 2nd to our UC Ministry Leaders and Volunteers Picnic to kick off the year, so we can begin to see how we mount our particular puzzle here, where we will put together our spiritual gifts and align that with our head, heart, and hands, so that we might be effective working with God, building His church together in 2024. Thanks for joining me for our weekly communion. Stay connected. Stay well in a changed and ever-changing world.